just wanted my fingers to evolve.
Hey guys, how's it going? Moon and Mike here with you. As you heard, the lovely Kayla is having some trouble with a cow Pokemon, and trying to get something to evolve.
You start over. No.
She's
No.
requesting that I start over.
No.
I
You
am.
start over.
I am denying that request. Where did I put my thing? Because I think it was kind of funny, to be honest. What was that? Something you want to share with the class? Viewers, you can't see it. However, she is flipping me the bird. That's one of the things I love about you. You're so very respectful of your elders. Yes, I am. Anyway, it's kind of an ugly Monday. Rainy, nasty Monday. And, to be honest, we just went and got some coffee at this really cool little place, like a little hole in the wall. For the record, I say little hole in the wall places always have the best food. If you want like a good sandwich or a good pizza, Mittens wants you. If you want a good sandwich or a good pizza or something, don't go to a chain. Go to a little mom and pop place. Like, some of the best food I've ever had was in the type of place where if you just look at it from the outside, you go, oh, hell no, I'm not eating in there. But it's good. And it's never expensive. And sometimes it makes you crap your pants. But it's good. That said, if anyone just happens to be in the Richmond area, Cafe Espresso, all one word, like cafe and espresso, but the E in the middle is like one E, so it's Cafe Espresso, kind of. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's what it is. And I was trying to think of something to talk about today, and I was having some trouble. Not sorry that I made you yawn. I was having some trouble, and I was asking again the lovely Kayla for some advice, and I was trying to get her to be a special guest, and she refused. Something about how it's not special if she's always there. However, I fully intend on her being here with me for a very long time. Don't do the exasperated at me. She's acting like she's dead. I love her maturity. Hey. Yeah. Anyway, so we were trying to figure out what to talk about, and we didn't really have any ideas aside from her knowing that she didn't want to be on this time. I'm gonna wear her down, viewers. Eventually, she will be back. I think the cow just killed her. So I figured, what the hell? I can always share some, like, work horror stories. Because I feel like everyone has those. Just like crazy stuff that's happened at work that at the time may have been annoying or upsetting or depressing. But looking back on it, it's kind of funny. I think anyone who's worked long enough probably has a decent number of those stories. However, I seem to collect them. Mostly because, for some reason, the most awkward stuff in the world seems to happen to me. I don't know why, but it does. So, that said, work horror stories. Oh God, why? So, I would say the majority of my work horror stories are probably from Comcast. Mainly because, as a cable tech, you're going into people's houses, and some of them are just plain weird. So, the first one. This was in my first week as a cable tech with my own route, my own van, no assistance, that kind of thing. So, it was one of my last jobs of the day. And I go to this like pretty well off neighborhood with like nice townhouses and everything. And like it was in an area where everything was easy to find. Basically, it was like uh, a little area for like brand new techs to be able to get up to speed. So I go there, and I even remember this much. The guy was having trouble with some of the channels not coming in, specifically HD channels. So I was trying to figure out what was going on with it. At this point, I didn't know that it could be something that was wrong in the system, that like I had to get my dispatcher to fix. Whatever, so keep in mind, this was also not long after I quit drinking, so I still had a definite beer gut going on. That's kind of important, so remember that. So I'm checking connections and everything, and I'm bent over unscrewing a connector from the wall. And then the guy just out of nowhere goes, you've got the perfect body to be an underwear model. And I straightened up pretty quickly. Because I was like, what? Baby tie. Velvet paws, sir. Well, just swat him. Ass. I don't actually condone swatting cats. So, I straightened up. I was like, thank you. So, he starts talking about how he's a photographer, and he has an area where he does photo shoots in his basement. This was when I started to get a very, very, like, oh god, I'm about to be penetrated type of feeling. So I was like, oh, that's cool. It's good to have hobbies. Like, what? Seriously, though, what do you say to that? Because Ty is going crazy. I don't know what to say to that, so I was just like, thank you? I mean, I don't know. So he starts... She called a Pikachu. Oh, the Pikachu evolved. So it's a Raichu now?
No.
Oh, it was a Pichu. Okay. So, I'm just kind of like, oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god. I didn't have my, my tool belt on me. So I didn't have like a screwdriver. At this point, I wasn't carrying a pocket knife. None of that. Because I didn't realize how handy all this stuff could come in. Not just for work, but, self-defense. For the record, screwdrivers? Very handy. Not many people will continue screwing with you if you place your hand very casually on a screwdriver that's about this long. What?
Screwing with you, really?
Oh my god, I just made a pun and I didn't know it. Wow. Viewers, I'm so sorry. No, I'm not. Not at all. Kayla with the assist. That's teamwork. Jesus. I need a minute. So, I didn't know these things yet. So I'm just like getting increasingly creeped out. And he starts talking about how he's done a lot of photo shoots and, for underwear models and swimsuit models, and how he's even done some nude photo shoots, and how some of these people have gone on to become big time models and now have billboards with their faces on them. And I'm not buying any of it. I'm creeped out like crazy. I didn't believe any of it because what type of photographer has no pictures of their stuff on their walls or anything like that, or any type of photography equipment out or anything? There was nothing that I saw that showed this guy was a photographer. I'm pretty sure he just had a sex dungeon that he wanted to imprison me in. And yeah, so I'm clenching at this point. And I'm not putting my back to him at all. And he keeps going on and how he's gonna be doing a calendar shoot. And basically trying to get me to agree to, I don't know, let him hello Mittens, let him photograph me. We never really got to the point of discussing if I would be wearing underwear or what kind of underwear or anything, because no. Thank you. So I was just so then the kicker, he gives me his card, which is a sticky note with his number written on it. Now here's where it gets interesting, dear viewers. Right about this time, we hear the door unlocking. So I'm just oh God, is there another? Dramatic pause. Think about what it could be. I guarantee you're wrong. Do 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 do. My bad. You're wrong. What he said next was, "Oh, my wife doesn't know about the photography business, so please don't mention it. That's a private cell phone that she doesn't know about." So his wife comes in and, kisses him and, is like, "Oh, how's it going?" Blah, blah, blah. And I'm just oh my God. I'm creeped out and confused, but hey, at least I know that, he can't insert anything into any of my orifices, while his wife is there, because his wife apparently doesn't know that he has some kind of photography sex dungeon of some kind. I don't know. Maybe this is a common thing with photographers. I know personally at least 2 photographers. Is this something that you guys do? Was I misreading this situation? Is there, a non-sex dungeon? Or what? I don't know. I'm not a photographer. I get the feeling, I got a very, airport body cavity search vibe from him. He did everything except for, snap the rubber glove and tell me to turn my head to the side and cough. Anyway, so I was just okay, I'm gonna go get another cable box and see if that could be the problem. So I go out to my truck and I text my dispatcher. I'm like, "Oh my God, this is happening, blah, blah, blah." I was like, "Can you call me?" So my dispatcher calls me and she's cracking up. And I'm just I don't know what's happening. So she says, "Okay, let me check something." She fixes it. I go back in. I don't even close the front door. I had everything with me just in case I had to, woo. So I go, "Hey, can you check the channels?" So his wife says, "Sure." She checks those. "Oh, they're working. Thank you." And I'm like, oh, you're welcome. And the guy starts, I see him like start coming towards me. I was like, okay, have a nice day, bye. And yeah, I don't think I've ever like power walked that fast in my life. But I got out of there real fast. So, keep in mind, this was like my first week. And this happened. So, it was like, I'll admit, I questioned for a little while, like, is this normal? Like, do I really want to do this? Do khaki pants make my butt look good? These are all questions. Apparently they don't. I don't know. I can't see. So I'm going on other people's opinions. I did ask Heisenberg once, and he just kind of looked at me. Kind of like he is now. With judgment in his eyes. Of course, that might just be a cat thing. So, other craziness that happened. Good God, there's so much. Okay, so there was also one where God, what was it? I mean, there were a few where like I'd go in and people would say like, "Oh, my TV isn't working," and this was always what happened in like the retirement communities. The TV or cable box would be plugged into an outlet that was controlled by a light switch, and at some point someone had turned it off, like whether it was a cleaning lady or what. I don't know. Not gonna lie, I loved those jobs. Because it was like, oh, flick, you're good to go. Then there were some where it was more like, oh god, I need to leave. Like one where... So, I believe everyone has a phobia of some kind. I don't know what yours is. I know one of mine is dolls. Specifically the creepy porcelain dolls, like the old school ones. Kind of like... Ugh. Think Annabelle. Or to a lesser extent, Chucky. Not as creepy because he's like plastic and whatever, but the porcelain ones really get to me. There was one time I had to run cable through a room, and I don't know what they used the room for, but it was bare except for shelves and like displays and everything, just filled with dolls. There wasn't anywhere to sit down or anything. There were just dolls. And if you stood in the middle of the room, they all were staring at you. And I was deeply disturbed. Like, I was not a happy person at that point. Yeah. Then there were people that, would try and get us to do stuff for free. My personal favorite, for people that tried to act like, we were there as like, I don't even know what they were thinking, but the old CRT TVs. For people my age, you probably remember that like even a small one was really, really heavy. A big one, like a 45-inch one, that's like a 3-person job. And I don't mean 3 people like me. I mean like big dudes. So I'm at a house with one of my coworkers, and they just gotten like a brand new flat screen, and they were like, "Oh, also take that TV with you." It was a giant CRT TV, and we go, no. Like, we're just like, we're sorry, yeah, we don't do that. So she goes, "Oh, come on, just do it." And We're like, no, it's a safety thing. So she starts talking about how it isn't that heavy and how her husband could do it and blah, 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 blah. And I just looked at her dead ass and went, so why doesn't he just do it? She didn't like that answer too much. Especially because she was basically trying to insult us to the point where we were like, no, we're big and strong. We're going to move this TV. But no. Just for the record, we weren't being dicks. It's literally if we had been moving that and it had like fallen on us or we'd, I don't know, like pulled out our back or something, because we were doing something that's not part of Comcast policy, we wouldn't have gotten workman's comp or had it covered or anything. So keep that in mind. When a cable guy doesn't want to do something like that, it's for a good reason, usually. Then there are the fun ones where like people try and do their own wiring and just I truly don't get this. I've had to change out so many splitters in my time because they were just like cheap and yeah. What else? So when I was working at Verizon Wireless, one of my coworkers, like, yeah, women sometimes flirted with us. But one of the things that in training they made very clear was do not look through people's pictures. Now, I know that seems like common sense and common decency, but realistically, that's not all that common, unfortunately. And I never did, but I know some of my coworkers, more than likely, if there was an attractive woman that came in with her phone, if they had to take it into the back, they'd probably go through the pictures. Or they may say, oh yeah, I have to take it in the back to do a software update or something. And they'd look. It's unfortunate, but it happens. It's just kind of the nature of the beast. So one of my coworkers actually did have to do a software update, and he didn't look through her pictures. But when he came back, the lady asked him, like, oh, did you see anything you liked? And he was like, what do you mean? She goes, well, did you look through my picture? And he went, no, I didn't need to. So she goes, oh, you should go into the back and look through my pictures. And I was like, oh. Yeah. Sometimes people can be very direct, which is fun. Funny. Let's see, other horror stories. Coco. So I used to work at a place called the Wild Bird Center. Basically, it's like a backyard nature store. Like bird seed, bird feeders, suet, anti-squirrel stuff, all that kind of stuff. But the one I worked at, the owner decided that we needed a bird. So she rescued a cockatoo. It was a lesser sulfur crested cockatoo named Coco. Now here's the thing about cockatoos. They're smart. Like, they're smart and they have their own personality, but from what I understand, they're smart enough that they can also go psychotic. Like, they can actually have, like, a psychotic break. This bird had that. So, just as an example, this bird loved to try and bite people. And what he would do is, he would, go to the edge of his cage and he'd stick his little, whatever, claw, talon out, and he'd go like, so, like you want to shake hands. You put your finger in there and he'd go, and then he'd slowly start drawing it towards him. And it was like, if you weren't aware, you wouldn't catch it. But then once it got close enough, sure enough, he'd go for it. He was devious. So, we sometimes let him out to try and like calm him down, and he'd go nuts and like fly all over the store, and we had to keep customers out while he was out, because he was insane. So eventually, she got his wings clipped. Now, getting a bird's wings clipped isn't permanent. It's something that you have to do again if you want to make sure they don't start flying. So, this demon, for the longest time, was just hopping around on the floor, trying to eat people's shoes. He had a thing for untying shoelaces. That's when I always started double knotting my shoelaces, because otherwise, I swear to you, I would, like, if he was out and I wasn't paying attention, I'd look down, my shoelace would be untied, and he'd have his beak, like, trying to get through my shoe. Not very cool. So anyway, he was a dick, and one time I was there with my coworker, and, the girl I was dating at the time, and, Coco was hopping around being an ass, and, I was standing up, and he was messing with me, and he kept looking up at me, and I went, you know what, I'm really glad you can't fly. As I say the word fly, he flew directly at my face. I screamed, very manly scream, not girlish at all, and I kind of, like, tripped on a bag of birdseed and, like, went down like, ah! So, he's flying around the store at this point, squawking in what I can only determine as laughter. And I cursed him out for like a good 5 minutes straight. That bird was an ass. I'm so glad that I don't have to deal with that thing anymore. That's why I don't like birds. I don't have a thing against like pigeons or like ravens or anything, but cockatoos specifically, and by proxy parrots, macaws, etc., creep me out. Because I don't know if it was coincidence that I said fly and then it happened. I honestly don't think it was. I think that bird was smarter than we realized, and that's disturbing. Mostly because that bird was disturbed. But yeah, Jesus Christ, that bird. Wonder what happened to that bird. I don't know, apparently they live for a long time, so I have no idea. But, yeah, just wanted to share a couple of stories from work that, you know, I thought might be amusing to some people. Hopefully you got at least a laugh or a smile or a giggle or at least a groan of, oh God, out of this. So, with that all being said, till next time, Moon Mike, out.